Hi everybody, my name is Laura Mazzotta here from Emerge Healing and Wellness. I am the Akashic Therapist and I guide women who are struggling with health issues, a trauma history, or depression and anxiety to access their inner power to create their own paths toward wellness. And I was just on vacation for a couple weeks, and so it's really nice to be back. Thanks so much for joining me. I missed being on here and spending time with you guys. I had intended to do a live or two, but I actually wasn't feeling that great on my vacation, and I also did not have the greatest internet connection there. So I did have a lot of time, however, to journal and read and just reflect on some things that were coming up for me. So I wanted to share some tidbits with you guys. So I'm going to be referring back and forth to my journal a little bit so that I make sure to share the points that I think might be helpful in guiding you on your path as well. So I've been getting a lot of migraines over the past 2 weeks or so. And these are something that I'd had my whole life but went away about, I guess, 8 years ago. And then when I got sick a few years ago, they started up again, and I've been cycling with them ever since. So I did some thinking and channeling and meditating on the purpose that the migraines are serving for me. What are they trying to teach me? Right? Like, why are they showing up in my life right now? And what am I supposed to be learning from them that I'm not getting on a conscious level, maybe? So what came to me most consistently was pressure, right? That I'm feeling pressure. And that makes sense given the physical experience of a migraine if you've ever had one. So when I looked up the definition of pressure, it said, well, the secondary definition was the use of persuasion, influence, or intimidation to get someone to do something. And the other one was a force continuously exerted, either by yourself, someone else, or some external source or object. So it's interesting because a few months ago, I did a video on squeezing things to death, that if we approach things with this really desperate energy of, oh, I have to get this done, or I have to get it done a certain way or for a certain outcome, we're not going to get what we're looking for, because if we're approaching it with that really constrictive energy, then we're not giving it any space to breathe and to kind of flow in the direction that it's supposed to in our highest good. So when we are exerting force on something in this situation where we're talking about pressure, we are then putting ourselves in a position, like the law of attraction says, to receive a forced or a tense or a constricted energetic response back, right? So it ends up being this feedback loop. And then you feel like you're constantly stuck in this cycle of pressure that you can't get out of, which I would definitely say is reflective of what I've been dealing with lately. Well, I have to start working on my blog, and then I have to get my website done, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I have to make sure that I submit these claims for my clients, and then I have to make sure that I call this person back, and then I have to make sure that I schedule this person, and just feeling a lot of pressure. And pressure of, but this isn't the spiritual way. This is not what my goal is, right? My egoic goal to embody, to be able to guide other people toward. So it's okay recognizing this and being able to say, I have the tools and the ability to step back and stop using the I'm supposed to do this, I should do this, and do what is in alignment with who I want to be and how I want to feel. So being very cautious of those red flags for yourself, considering what are the red flags for yourself. Is it the word supposed to? Is it the word should? Is it a feeling in your body, right? Like, what does should feel like in your body? I should be going to spend time with my daughter right now. I should be typing up a blog post. I should be submitting claims. That hits me right in my sacral chakra. kind of both in my solar plexus and my sacral chakra, above my belly button and below my belly button. I feel an anxiety. I feel a twinge and a tensing. The other question is, where do you feel it energetically? Does it make you feel tired, heavy energetically? And emotionally, how does it make you feel? Usually it makes me feel guilty. And the word should and the word supposed to usually sets us up for that feeling of guilt or feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, which can tap into some history with shame. Okay? So be careful of those red flag words, because those are indicators that we're not in alignment with truly who we are. And when we talk about this definition of continuous force, right, that's what pressure is. What is one way that we can not just get into alignment, but just take one step away from feeling pressure? Okay? So one step away from that is not making this force continuous. All right? So, for example, you can set up breaks. All right, so I know for myself, I have to kind of schedule these in, either put them in my calendar, or I have to be very conscious of deciding, all right, I'm going to do work for 40 minutes, but then for 15 or 20, I'm going to choose to either go move my body and do something physical, go do a craft with my child, go read a book with somebody, go outside, but consciously choosing to step away from my phone, step away from my computer, step away from work expectations, and just do something that brings me joy, something that is not imposed by an external force, or an internal force for that matter, which the internal force would be the should or the supposed to, some of those old stories that have been playing in our minds. And when I do that, I feel success, right? And a lot of times I feel like, well, I'm feeling pressure to be successful, and I'm feeling pressured because I want success, right? But then the question came up for me, well, how do I define success? Well, success for me is a relief from pressure. Choosing to detach from whatever is creating the pressure. Giving myself a break from whatever is creating the pressure, even though I feel like, no, if I just get it done, I'll feel better. Yeah, but then that leads to another cycle because I'm approaching it with that desperate energy, that forceful energy, that restrictive energy. Right? So it's going to come back at me in one way or another. And usually it comes at me with another task that I have to do, or, okay, well, I did that. Well, now I'm going to up the ante. I need something else, more pressure, because you responded to that one, right? So the other thing that I came up with in my journal is, how do you know when you're under continuous pressure? So for me, I was explaining earlier about my migraines, right? When it hits our bodies, that is when we've already missed many of the signs that we've already been receiving, to step back, to take these breaks, to align with ourselves, right? So considering, what other clues do you get before it gets to physical that you're under continuous pressure? So our thoughts, it could be words that we're using. It could be the pace at which our thoughts are going. It could be that we are being preoccupied, with a lot of thoughts that are going through our head. Or with something that we have to do. And it can be that we're having trouble focusing, right? Or that meditation is harder. And we can look at our behaviors. Okay, that's one sign of whether we're under continuous pressure. So it can be, well, I'm having trouble making decisions lately, or I'm feeling more impulsive in my decision making, or my behaviors or my decisions are more reckless, right? More instant gratification. And lastly, looking at our emotions. So that could be irritability. It could be, I feel rushed, I feel anxious, I feel inconvenienced, kind of burdened. So anytime any of those things come up, use them as signs that you might be under continuous pressure, And you need to take those breaks. You need to get back into alignment. In whatever way you get into alignment, it could be tapping, it could be meditation, it could be reading, it could be walking, it could be nature. And I'm happy to consult with any of you to help you find what those steps are, those hows, to help you release some of that pressure, a little bit at a time. You know, we're like soda bottles. If you shake up a soda bottle and you just open it up, it's going to explode. We need to release a little bit at a time. So you open the cap and then you close it again. You open the cap and you close it again. Just venting a little bit, right? Just a little bit at a time so that you don't explode. So keeping in mind of your signals. And then the other thing that I wrote here was that the beautiful thing is that investing in a daily practice like meditation can assist in a lot of these areas, like regular energy work to maintain and clear this space and all of these things, like the behaviors, the emotions, the thoughts, before it becomes more dense, before it turns into migraines, before it turns into something that feels like continuous pressure. So these are just some thoughts that I had that I wanted to share with you guys. And thank you so much for listening. I have my Evolve group coming up this Sunday. It's every other week. And it started out as a meditation circle and a tapping space where we tap, do some EFT, emotional freedom technique, to release tension, anxiety, or any density that we're holding. And then we go through a meditation that we've all put together collectively. I collect the journal prompts over the course of the couple weeks after I the journal responses, after I put the prompts out every couple weeks. And I put them together under the guidance of the records. And the meditations just keep getting more powerful. And we're getting some awesome downloads and insights from spirit and from the universe, and sharing with one another too collectively. So it's turned into this group that is really evolving, and as we evolve, our needs change. And so it's a lovely space to learn and grow if you are a woman who's considering just expanding, improving your health, improving your well-being, trying to be your best self, and really looking for that space where you want to connect and share and learn some skills and tools energetically and spiritually to be able to heal yourself, to be able to take care of yourself on a very regular basis. So some of the ideas we've come up with are journeying through the Akashic records together, which I'm going to be teaching the people in that group, and doing some Reiki, talking about crystals, we're going to continue to do meditations, continue to do some tapping, and the list is going to continue to expand as we grow together and talk together about where our needs are. So please feel free to contact me if you have questions about that or if you'd like more information. And I love you all. Thank you for connecting with me tonight, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.